Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back. Jamie here today with Dylan, and we're going to be reviewing the original Evil Dead, released in 1981, directed by Sam Raimi, and it started the whole franchise pretty much. Then it spawned, 4 sequels at this point, TV show, a game as well, the video game's out as well. Comics. I mean, Evil Dead, man,
an
it's
entire career for two men, really.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess you can make the argument Sam Raimi's probably had the more successful career, hasn't he? Because he's done Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. And
yeah. Like,
Bruce Campbell's definitely done a lot of good work as well. I'm not, short-sighted Bruce Campbell.
I'm saying, like, equally, I think that they've done a lot more. Sam's probably made more money. Like you said, like this is a beginning of an era in the 80s. You talk about horror films, you talk about Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween,
Friday,
Evil Dead. You talk about like these big four are kind of like the thing, really.
That's good for Evil Dead. It's not really a slasher, is it? It's more of it's about your Deadites demons, really, in it and stuff. And when you get further into it, it's comedy as well.
Yeah, like it's that classic, campfire horror in the woods kind of storytelling. You know what I mean?
True. And the super low budget, which we'll talk a little bit about. First they made the short film, then they're within the woods to try and get finance for the film, going about like different.
Yeah, like I read it in Bruce's book. Like they were going to like doctors, dentists, the neighbors. Like they were like financing it anyway. Like it was $5 grand, 10 grand, or $2 grand. Like they were getting money as much as they could, just for the equipment alone. That's all they needed.
It was the video nasties in the 1980s, wasn't it, in the UK? Banned over here for a little bit as well. I remember seeing the VHS cover when I was a kid in my brother's room, and that was just scared the shit out of me with like the Deadites. And it was Evil Dead, man. It's made such an impact on the horror franchise I was talking about before. We also got a new movie coming out next year as well, Evil Dead Rise.
Hopefully that's good.
I mean, they proved with the remake that you don't necessarily need the Ash character to make a good Evil Dead.
Yeah, this movie, like, as good as the second one is, as better as the second movie, if we never had Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 3, or any of the other things, I think we'd still be talking about this movie on its own to this day if they never made a sequel.
Oh yeah, if it was just this one film, yeah, definitely. I think I'd probably like it even more because it was just contained to this one film. So we'll get into the story a little bit. We're not gonna go through the whole thing.
There's not much of one, to be fair.
No, there's not much of one, but the way it's told, like you said, it's a simple story, but it keeps you engaged. It's not like, I wasn't bored. I've seen the film multiple times, but I wasn't bored.
It's not so much about. It's so weird because it's
the atmosphere in it, and it's the way,
The simplicity of the story helps Sam, I think. Like the simplicity of like this plot B, plot A, helped him build like these characters, these people, this personality of Ash and all that. And this horror story that he wants to tell. Like just having that simple bedrock of a simple story, nothing complicated, nothing over the top. Just that simple like baseline helped him build these things that he needs to make this movie better than it is. As good as it is, as great as it is, I should say.
Yeah, if it wasn't Sam directing it, I don't think. He definitely, used most of for later on inside the series, it's Bruce Campbell really, but this first film, I feel like it was mostly Samu because they were all beginners, weren't they, when they first started? Like we mentioned, Bruce playing Ash Williams first time, like iconic, but I mean, this isn't the Ash that you fall in love with. That really comes in Evil Dead 2, but you still see like elements of the character, like when they're playing cards and he's like, he makes like wise ass remark on the shit.
But it's like I said, like Bruce Campbell says, the way to watch these movies is watch the first one first, all the way through up to like the end, and then there's a scene in the second movie, and that's where you carry on half through the second movie. That's because the first half of the second movie is sort of like a remake, retell. Yeah,
we'll talk about the second one next week, but it's because of the rights issue and all that as well, and it didn't have the rights to the first film, so
like, what I'm saying is though, is like you watch it like that, you kind of see Ash's character grow very much from being this cowardly sort of. Not the wise Ash into this person towards the end of the second movie. And that
definitely. Because in this first one, like Scotty most of the time takes control, doesn't he? Ash is just like back just at the corner for most of it at first.
Yeah, which I think helped build because like he's overcome this fear. So then when you get to that second one, you understand like now he's in fight or flight mode and he's chose fight.
Well, we mentioned before it starts with the iconic shot, doesn't it, coming through the woods in the car. 5 characters. We got Ash, his girlfriend Linda, sister Cheryl, Scotty, and his girlfriend, which they don't really carry on. Ash is the only character really, and then like if you play the video game, Scotty and Cheryl's in there as well.
Yeah, Linda sort of like is mentioned quite a lot, or like his girlfriend, his first love, but she never.
Yeah, and they make the joke in the TV show, don't they? Like, oh, it's my second Linda or my third Linda.
Yeah, so that's like the characters in their own right throughout like the lore of his history of Ash. You know what I mean? But yeah. Ash is like the guy, but like I think this sets up like a great sort of like grouping. There's always 5 people, usually 6. But, like,
true, but like you made a good point yesterday. Like, why did they bring your sister? Like, it's couples night and you bring your sister, and it's like.
I feel like there's a story behind that somewhere. Like, not just like that. Not just like I don't mean just in Sam's head of like, oh, we 5 made sense or whatever. But, like, there's like the actual story. There's a reason why his sister's come with him. Like, I think they were trying to explore in the show, but they never got to.
Yeah, I feel it's because they're close, aren't they? Because like when she starts freaking out later on, he's the one who wants to take her back until they find the bridge.
He's a good big brother,
Yeah, but other brothers might be like, oh no, we're here, let's just forget about her and blah blah blah, being a dickhead. But
he did try that at the first, but like he realized how much he shot. Like he went, okay, well I'll let you take you back into the town. You can stay somewhere.
But yeah, we've got to mention Bruce Campbell's haircut, the bowl cut where he's got to go. It's not bad when he gets more sweaty, but at the beginning of the film, inside the car, it's like, oh my god.
I don't think he's talked about that. Like, and again, this is Sam's mum's car. Like, this car's in all his movies.
Oh yeah, that's an Easter egg throughout every film, isn't it? Even the Spider-Man and Doctor Strange
the remake
as well,
that he didn't even direct. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and apparently, they say it's not even a remake. They say like all the films happened in that timeline. That's why the car's there and everything.
Yeah.
But Cheryl starts hearing the voice on it saying join us, and her hand gets possessed. She draws the Necronomicon, which we don't know what it is at this point, but she's drawing it out. That goes through a few different looks, doesn't it? Like in this original, it looks all like light brown, like in the second one there's like actual faces, and in the third one it's like
they didn't make it look like a face in this one.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously it's part of the budget as well, but you can tell it's not the same book in the second film. Same with the Kandarian dagger as well, like that.
Oh my gosh, we'll get to that.
A cellar door opens later on, doesn't it? And they go down, and we get the Hills of Eyes poster, which starts the little Easter eggs between Wes Craven and Sam Raimi.
Rest in peace.
Because in Evil Dead 2, we got Freddy's glove, Nightmare, she's watching her Evil Dead. And I think there might be another thing as well, I'm not too sure. Down there, they find the Necronomicon and the Kandarian dagger, which we mentioned before.
And the tapes of the Professor.
Oh yeah, the Nobi tapes as well, which they start listening to later on. Ash starts playing it, doesn't it? And then Nobi mentions you got to dismember, because they found it. Where did they find it? Was it Kandar Temple? He mentions how they found the book there, and it's made in human flesh. And he starts reading it, the bastard. We get one of those out of focus shots like I was talking about with Ash and his girlfriend, and he gives her a magnifying glass, which you mentioned. What was it? The original idea?
The original idea was like they wanted to because they wanted to burn the book, and the way they were gonna do it, like he couldn't get light or anything, so he was gonna use the sun to burn it or whatever.
I'm glad they changed that, because that would be kind of,
Yeah, but it makes sense for us to have the magnifying glass. Now this magnifying glass just comes out of place. Then it does get used in a sense.
Yeah, it does get used later on, doesn't it? Towards the end.
But this scene is so awkward. You can tell it's so early. Sam's writing of how people who love each other or are being romantic sort of act. It's so kind of endearing in that sense. Ash sort of doing his bit and whatever. It was a nice scene, but it was so early on.
But they play back it later on, don't they? Because in this bit, Ash is pretends to close his eyes, and while he's got the necklace, and then later on, when she's a deadite, she's closing her eyes, isn't she? While Ash is looking. So it's a it's a nice little callback to do as well.
Alright, I didn't know it. Yeah, that's cool.
Cheryl goes outside, doesn't she? We get the famous tree scene, which
Yep.
I can see probably why it was banned, to be honest. No, I mean,
Yep.
Obviously she turns back and runs. She gets back to the cabin and she's distressed because what just happened. They don't really believe it, do they? But Ash is like, all right, well, I'll drive you back into town.
So he's like, oh, I'll take you to sleep. And he's like, no, go well. And she's the only one that calls him Ashley. Because this is the first time I noticed, because I thought the first time that we heard him, his name was Ashley, was in the movie, in the show. Because I don't think I've ever remembered him being called Ashley. I always thought it was Ash. So
they start driving and they find that the bridge is just completely destroyed, so they're not getting out that way.
Yeah.
We go back to the cabin and get the first sight of Deadite because Cheryl gets possessed and she's levitating a little bit in chair. Which, Deadites are so cool, man. I love Deadites. I just love how they possess people and they try and fuck with you emotionally and everything.
I think Deadites a really cool concept because they're not demons. Demons
are zombies either.
Yeah, I hate zombies. Zombies are fucking boring. Demons are pretty cool. It's the way you do a demon. And I'm guessing Deadites are meant to be demons, but type of demon. But the way the idea is to psychologically harm you as well as physically abuse you. And then the way the body that they possess decays because they're known evil and it's decaying the body. Like I thought that was really cool. I know that's like a purpose concept that Sam had, but I think Derek's like a really cool villain idea.
They can transform like that, kind of. They can switch back to normal form just to mesh with you even more. You're like, oh my god, they're normal, and then next thing you know, they're not. They put Cheryl inside the basement. Skip ahead a bit. We get like I said, like they snap back and forth, don't they? So we got, I think it's Scotty's girlfriend. No, it's Ash's girlfriend. When she sat there, she's like, not another peep, time to go to sleep. That always shit me up as a kid when she just sat there, like, you know, singing to herself.
This whole scene's really cool because messing with Ash, like he's the only one. Because Scott has gone out.
And he comes back all messed up on it. And he's got all bones sticking out, hasn't he, and stuff.
Yeah,
and
but
like...
what does he say? Oh, the trees will let you leave. They know.
Yeah, because he was looking for another way out apart from the bridge.
Yeah, which I think it's slightly cool that they didn't show us what happened to him. Because we kind of already know what the trees would have done through what we saw with them.
Yeah, we didn't really need to see it, did we? Yeah,
so,
it was more left
seeing him
up.
come back there, it's like, oh, what the fuck did they do? And knowing what they're capable of, what did they do to him? I think is a lot like is a mind fuck for the audience.
And we get the close-up montage, like I said, of the shots. He takes her into the work shed, ties her up. He's going to use the chainsaw, but then he can't do it. So he decides to bury her, and eventually knocks her head off with a shovel.
Oh, this is practical though. All this like on location, not on a set. They're all actually in the dark. They're all fucking cold.
Covered in blood as well, because Ash goes inside the basement and we get one of his first. Because he's getting used to this throughout the series, just covered in shit and everything. But eventually the Necronomicon starts burning inside the fire, doesn't it? Well, it catches fire, but it's not completely burning.
Yeah, because they're
attacking him. Yeah. And he uses the necklace is a skull. It's shaped like a skull in it on the floor at first.
Yeah.
Shaped
like a floor, and then he's trying to. He's like the weirdest way they could have done it. I feel like all they needed to do was literally just get up. Like throughout the entire movie, I'm watching this like, you could just get up.
Like the way you frame it, at first you think like, oh, is he trying to make sure it doesn't burn? But then he picks it up and then he throws it in. Because when I first watched it, I thought he was going to read some sort of incantation to, you know, make him go away or whatever.
Yeah, and this is like this movie's like this first part, and we never see it again until like the show. Like we see like Ash is actually kind of smart, you know what I mean? Like he sort of understands the book and like that, and I felt that would have been a concept that they would be cool to see throughout. Like, yeah, have the cocky hero be like that because he is smart and cocky, not because he's got dumb look in his hands.
True, we can make the argument, you know, he does hit his head quite a lot, so maybe it's just the brain damage.
No, I'm just saying, like that would have been a cool, because I know his character he's just smarmy and dumb look. That's why he's so confident. I would have liked to have seen a version where he's smarmy and cocky because he is smart. You know, he knows the next move, you know what I mean?
He throws the Necronomicon inside the fire, and then the Deadites start melting away, which is a cool effect as well. It is good.
Oh, practical or stop motion, fucking loved it. Look, gruesome all hell.
And he survives until the morning, completely covered. Everyone's dead, it's just him alive. So he wanders out, but the evil's still there. It goes through the house. I love the shot of the camera going through the house, just breaks the doors and everything.
Yeah.
Which we'll get more of in the next film. And it just takes him. Well, it don't even take him away, it just ends with the close-up of him screaming, doesn't it? We don't know what happens.
Yeah, and that's where you like sort of start off in the second scene.
So, overall rating, what are you going to give the original Evil Dead?
I'm going to give it like 4 spooky skeletons out of 5.
We're doing out of 10.
Oh, out of 10. Ah, right. And I'm giving it a 7. 7 spooky skeletons.
I'm gonna give it a 7 as well, because it's a great start for the series, isn't it? And it's like I said last night, like all the films are good. There's not a bad film, but Evil Dead 2 just does it so much better for me. Yeah,
but like they literally are sort of like remaking it. We'll talk about that next week.
True, but it's an amazing like for franchise starting point. It's so good like, for a low budget and everything.
If this was the only one, we still
if it was the only one, it'd be an 8 or 9 for me.
I still think we would be talking about it to this day.
Definitely, because everything that is set up and the Deadites.
I think Sam and Bruce may have gone different paths.
Next week we'll be reviewing Evil Dead 2, so make sure to check out that. Like and subscribe if you're new. Check out the social links down below. Until next time, peace out in a bit.